Good evening, everybody. It's Cutler here in the Let's Talk to Cutler program, the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. It's May 25th already. You all know I only show up for 1,800 seconds on these Tuesdays and Thursdays. But just in case you are just perusing and you're passing by my channel, stop by, take a listen. We're going to talk about how easy or how difficult you might find it to stand in truth. We're going to talk about that this evening. And I wanted to say thank you so much for joining my channel, for joining this broadcast. You may be asking yourself, what is it all about? It is about making sure that we show up better tomorrow than we did today, taking the time to try to inspire and motivate and encourage and challenge us all just to be a little bit better. I'm thankful for this time. I'm thankful for this space. And I tell you what, we are going to talk about the ability to stand in truth. The ability to stand in truth. We're going to talk about how powerful it is, how liberating it is, and how challenging and difficult sometimes it may be. Liberating, emancipating, but sometimes challenging. So hold on, we'll talk about that as soon as I come right back.
Let's talk love. One more thing, like, subscribe and share. Come on, let's talk to color.
All right, I'm back. Thank you so much. It's May 25th already, and it seems like I've been away for so long when it was just this past Thursday. But thank you all so much for spending this time with me, whatever space you are allowing me to come into, whatever space you allow me to share. I want to say thank you so much because our channel, this channel is about making sure that we encourage each other. It's about making sure that we motivate and inspire. My goal is to make sure that as we are on our way to this place that's called better, we just don't show up alone. My goal is to make sure that we show up with other passengers in the car. We're riding, we're on our way. We're looking at these things called billboards. And we're reading the billboards and we're applying them to our lives. And whatever does not apply to us, we're handing them over to another passenger. We are not so disillusioned as to think that everything in this book is for everybody. But there is at least something for everybody in here. So I want to say thank you. I want to shout out our LTTC VIPs this evening. They are Jackie Cares RN. She says, hello, fellow passengers. There's Annie Color. She says, let's ride. There's Linda Martin. She says, good evening, everybody. And a special shout out. You all help me greet, if you don't mind. Say hi to Lorraine Brown. Fellow passengers, as you are in the chat room, go ahead. Make sure that you especially say hi to Lorraine for joining us this evening. All right. You all know how we do it. We're reading quotes every Tuesday. We're reading quotes here from Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And then on Thursday, we're going to talk about our quotes for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Yes, there's a quote for Saturday. And the quote for Saturday, take it, read it, use it to start a conversation, use it as part of your meditation, but just use it, all right? So then, I want to get started by reading our quotes. But again, thank you all so much. I always say there's always an opportunity in each day to challenge yourself. Each day holds an opportunity to challenge me, to make me better, to pull out the best in me. All right. So that's what this is all about. Although I'm at the end of this conversation, I'm on this end of the conversation. It is about individual introspection so that nobody else looks at me but me. Nobody looks at you but you, and is taking advantage of every opportunity to become better. You all do me a favor. Not Tracy's first time, but please say hi to Tracy Johnson for joining us in the chat room. All right. So I'm going to take a look over here and we're going to get started. We're going to read these quotes. And as I'm reading the quotes, you all make sure that you chat with me. But listen, do me a favor. If this is your first time, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. And then click on the notification bell so you will be made aware whenever I go live, whenever I've uploaded new content. And then as you're joining the conversation, do me a favor, you all. Go ahead and click on the like button. It just gives a thumbs up to say to YouTube, hey, I like the content that guy is sharing. But it also encourages my heart because it reminds me that I am sharing something that is worth sharing. All right, would you do me that favor? And then make sure that you share this and tell other people about our conversation. I want to go on to our quotes and get started with the quotes because I have a whole lot to say and probably just a little bit of time. You all know I only have 1,800 seconds. I don't want to waste your time. I want to make every second significant, every moment matter, meaningful, and every minute has to matter. All right. So the quote from May 23rd says this: learning to accept the truth is sometimes like standing naked and allowing yourself to be reborn. Learning to accept the truth is sometimes like standing naked and allowing yourself to be reborn. This quote, I get it just right out of the gate. This quote may not necessarily resonate with a lot of people, but I wrote this quote, you all, against the backdrop of conversations that I've had with people whose entire lives were lies. I've met people who had been lied to and sometimes lied on their entire lives. And I watched those people try to step into truth as it had finally been revealed. And what I discovered is that it's difficult to one day step into truth, one day, when you've spent years marching in lies. It's not so easy to stand naked in truth when you've spent your whole life cloaked and covered in lies. And that's not necessarily to your own fault or to your or because of something that you did. And the beautiful thing, what I understand about truth, is that it's powerful and that it is freeing and it is liberating, it is emancipating. But on the same hand, the challenging, not just the beautiful part, but the challenging part about truth is that it's powerful. It's freeing, it's emancipating, and it's liberating. And I say that it's both beautiful and challenging because when you've been attached to something so long, you've been attached to it for so long, it is painful to actually rip yourself apart from it. It's painful to rip yourself apart from something that you've been attached to. So if your life has been attached to lies and now you're trying to rip yourself apart from it, it becomes painful. And nobody wants to talk about that. Everybody wants to talk about, oh, just live in truth and all of that. But let's be practical and let's be honest. When your life has been a lie for so long, it's uncomfortable to detach yourself from the thing that has been connected to you and carried you for so long. I'm going to get into some ugly things this evening because for some people, their lives have just been connected to lies. I unfortunately know people who were lied to about who their parents were, people who were lied to about where they come from, who they were from, where they were from, who they were from, about how they had arrived at certain situations in life, just lied to, no fault of their own. I know people whose childhood was so traumatic, you all, until they constructed a life of lies to shield themselves from what they thought would be this mental and emotional agony. It's one thing to be lied to by other people, but it's different when you have to lie to yourself to construct what is called a safe space. It's unfortunate. And my heart goes out because I know people whose mothers were drug users, whose fathers were murderers, whose grandfathers were wife abusers, and whose siblings were molesters. I know people like that. And they told me that when you have all of that going on, you do your best to construct a space to shield yourself from the attacks of people who would antagonize you because of your connection to people and circumstances that you have no control over. We talk about truth, but when we look at some of the lies that people have to live in for various reasons, I know people who have been manipulated and abused and molested and controlled, and they created this field and this shield of lies just to safeguard their emotional and psychological and mental well-being. Can you imagine the psychological pain of trying to accept the truth of a situation that had the potential to destroy you? My heart goes out to people like that. My heart goes out to people who have slept in lies and then one day try to wake up in the truth. I'll tell you this, if your journey to truth, if you've had an easy journey into truth, count your blessings. And don't always think that other people's journey has been the same as yours. You all chat with me, talk to me about this. Can you imagine what it must be like to live? Let's see. Can you imagine what it must be like to live in a dungeon or in a basement all of your life, never having seen the light of day? And then one day, somebody escorts you to the sunlight in the middle of a hot July day. Well, you know what's going to happen. Not only are the sun's rays going to blind you, but they're also going to burn your skin. That's what the journey into truth is like for a lot of people. And yes, truth will always be powerful. Truth will always be liberating. But sometimes the journey into truth, that's what I'm talking about. The journey into truth is not always an easy one, because the truth will sometimes make you vulnerable. It makes you potentially the object of ridicule. Because one thing I've discovered, you all, is that people will try to manipulate you with the truth just as quickly as they will try to manipulate you with a lie. I'm just sharing what I've learned in life. People will try to manipulate with you with the truth just as quickly as they will a lie. But for as difficult and as vulnerable as truth might initially become, the one thing that it does that a lie is unable to do, let me talk about the power of truth. The one thing that truth can do that a lie is not able to do is to ground you in reality. And reality is a powerful place to stand. It's a powerful place to be, because you don't get to trick me or to distort me when I know truth. I'm not as pliable and as easily bent when I know the truth, because when I know truth, it is almost as if I'm reborn. Because when I have truth, I have clarity. I have reality, and I have clarity about who I am. I have clarity about what I'm capable of. I have clarity about where I'm going. That's what truth does. And my hope for us this evening is that if we are standing in truth, we recognize the blessings and the power and the space of where we stand. And if we are making the journey into truth, my hope is that God's grace would be the bridge that carries us there. And if by chance we are still living in the darkness of lies that have been told to us, on us, by ourselves or others, my prayer is that the power of God will guide us into the reality and the clarity of who we truly are. Because who are we truly, Cutler? My faith says to me, we are masterpieces of God's handiwork. And a lie is created so that we never recognize that. That is our reality. The reality is that we were wonderfully created in the image and the likeness of the Creator of the whole wide world. My prayer is that we are able to step in that reality and see that there is value and goodness and all of those wholesome kind of things on the inside of us. So the quote says, learning to accept truth, because sometimes we accept and we live in half truths and lies. But when you are able to step in the reality of who you are and you make this journey into truth, that is like standing naked and being reborn and saying, this is the reality of who I am. Do you not know that truth gives you a completely new perspective of who you are? People say a lot of times, this is my truth, but understanding my truth is that I am a masterpiece in God's hand. Allow yourself to be reborn. That is the gift that I'm offering us this evening. Allow us to stand in truth and be reborn. All right, I want to go into the quote for May the 24th. But before I do, I want to remind you, I want to say thank you for joining me this evening, this afternoon. We're reading from this book. We're reading quotes from Billboard to Better, 366 daily sources of motivation and inspiration along the highway of life. Why? What is this channel about? It is about making sure that we are accountable to our brothers, accountable to our sisters, and trying to take everybody on this journey to becoming better. All right. So I want to go. Thank you all so much for sharing this space. Make sure that you share this conversation. I want to go into our next quote for May 24th, another quote from May 24th, and I'll read it to you. It says this. And again, listen, if you don't have the book, go over to Amazon.com and get it, or you could go over to www.gbcutland.com and get it. You don't need the book to join the conversation, but it helps because that way you know all the quotes that I'm referencing. All right. This is my 7th book. Most of them are available on Amazon. Just run on over there and get it. The quote for May 24th says this: no matter how graceful it may appear, it is a confused fish that swims in the wrong direction. Just because you're moving, that doesn't mean you're on the right course. So the fish is swimming gracefully and looking wonderful and doing a great job, but it is a confused fish that swims in the wrong direction. The quote goes on to say, just because you're moving, that doesn't mean you're on the right course. I wrote an anecdote at the bottom of that quote, you all, and it says, when you discover your path, stay on it. When you discover your path, stay on it. Otherwise, you might end up in a snare or in the mouth of a predator. And nobody wants to end up in the mouth of a predator. All right. This quote seems to be a natural flow or a natural follow up from the previous one. It really does, because it's about getting clarity again about yourself. It's about knowing who you are. It's about knowing where you come from and where you're going. It's about having vision and having direction in your life. It's about setting a course for success and not being easily distracted. That's what it's about. All right. Let's see. I'm reading the chats and I'm enjoying what you all have to say. But I want to go and I want to talk about this whole notion of a fish that swims in the wrong direction. Because this quote, it's about strategically navigating through life. It's about finding direction and mapping out a course. It's about accomplishment. It really is. It's about achievement. It's about meeting the goals and finishing the race. It's about not floundering around in life, but understanding that life is too short to waste time. It's about respecting the gift that each new day brings. And it's about not wandering around in the wilderness, fooling with people and situations and circumstances that mean you no good. That's what this quote is about. But it's an admonition. It is a challenge to us not to waste our time or energy just moving haphazardly, but to move strategically in life, to walk intentionally, and to run with purpose. And I'll be the first to admit, oh God, here comes a transparent moment from Cutler. Because I would be the first to admit, y'all, that I've wasted time. I know I've certainly wasted more time than I choose to recall. I'm just being honest. I've wasted more time than I choose to recall. But what I don't allow myself to do is to you all hear me clearly, please. Because what I don't allow myself to do is to beat myself up for the time that I wasted. Don't do that, you all. That's why I'm here. That's why I show up these Tuesdays and Wednesdays, to remind us life has taken us on different paths, but don't beat yourself up for the time wasted. We all waste time. We all waste time. But I don't beat myself up. I count my blessings because there was a day when I finally understood what direction really meant. I finally understood what purpose was all about. I finally understood how long or how wisdom was acquired. And I finally understood that my life had destiny attached to it. And I truly understood what it meant to forget those things that are behind me. And I understood that there really is a prize before me. So what am I doing? I'm reaching and I'm pressing. I'm sometimes walking and I'm sometimes running. I'm sometimes persevering and persisting. And I'm always moving, not just for the sake of moving, but I'm moving in a direction that takes me to better. Ultimately, to best. And this is why I show up every Tuesday and Thursday. I show up every Tuesday and Thursday because I want to help us not to waste time. If I can help someone not to waste as much time as I wasted, if I can help someone appreciate the journey that they are now on, if I can help someone not to beat themselves up for wasting time, if I can help someone see that, yes, better is still possible, if I can help someone see and realize that your life has value, it doesn't matter when you got on what was called direction or the right track. Just be thankful that you got on that right track. Don't beat yourself up because you think it took you too long. You might be in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, or 70s. It does not matter. When you find that you're on the right track, count your blessings, you all. That is why it is so important to me that we share goodness with each other and that we don't allow each other to live in a space that's called condemnation. I know I've wasted time, but I don't allow myself to live in a space that's called condemnation. because I count my blessings that I'm not the fish swimming in the wrong direction anymore. No matter how graceful I may have looked, there was a time when I was swimming in the wrong direction. No matter how strong I may have looked, I was swimming in the wrong direction. But this is an admonition to us all to make sure we do a self-assessment to say, hey, am I on the right road now? I'm on the right track now. And if I am, guess what? Nobody gets to condemn me for the time that I spent going in the wrong direction. Nobody. You all do me a favor and say hi to Fergie201, please. Thank you so much for joining the chat. So good to see you. All right. Shonda, it's good to see you as well. Y'all don't let life or other people make you feel bad when you think about your life in its totality. Stay on your own path. Yes, you are saying it. Everybody's path is different. Learn to understand what your path, what your journey, what your destiny looks like. And give thanks for discovering it. I've spoken with people who are a generation older than I am. And some have said, I wish that I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. I wish I could have done this early in life. And my response always is and always will be, but just be thankful that you're doing it now. Just be thankful that you're doing it now. Now is when you wake up recognizing the gift of every new day. Now is when you understand. Perhaps if you would have had this revelation about your life when you were younger, you still may not have gotten on the right path. So just be thankful for your journey. Just be thankful for your journey. All right, I want to go to the quote 4. It is never too late. That's right. I want to go to the quote from May 25th. The quote from May 25th. It says, it's better to, you all know I'm from the South. So every now and then there is this reference to my Southern upbringing. The quote from May 25th says, it's better to eat your cooking than your words. Better to eat your cooking than your words. Think twice before you speak wickedly about somebody or try to shame them, because they might be the ones who you need to restore you one day. They might be the ones who you need to restore you one day. It reminds me so much, you all, of, there's a biblical story. Everybody knows about Job. Anybody who halfway has an understanding about, some of the Old Testament stories, they know about Job. Job lost everything he had. But one of the things that was interesting in Job's story, after he lost all of these things, Job's friends talked about him. His friends talked about him, and they falsely accused him. But ultimately, guess what? They needed Job to pray for him. After they lied on Job, after they falsely accused him, they needed Job to pray for him. Sometimes our quotes are that they're really inspirational. They're so inspirational to sometimes I think we lose sight of the fact that they really have a matter of practicality to them. I mean, I wrote it, but sometimes I see that they can be so inspirational and take us to this moment. And we forget there's a practical aspect to them. And this quote is one of those that takes us back to a space of being practical. It gives us a strategy to how to navigate life. It simply reminds us to be kind to people and to speak well of others. It's an admonition to think twice before you speak. You all know this. One of the most beautiful things about social media is that everybody gets to share an opinion. And one of the worst things about social media is that everybody gets to share an opinion. That's right. Everybody gets to share an opinion. So this is just a reminder of what parents would tell the children when they went to the playground, or at least what my mom would tell me when I was growing up. She would always say this: be nice and play fair. Why is it that so many of us have lost sight of that into adulthood? Too simple sentences and instruction. Be nice and play fair. It frightens me. It unnerves me to think that in this technologically advanced day, people will still lie quicker than they will tell the truth. People will manipulate faster than they will embrace. People will backbite and gossip quicker than they will uphold and support. People will still judge you based on the color of your skin, based on the size of your bank account, based on where you live, based on what you drive, based on all the superficiality of the day. People will still judge you based on all of that. And there are people, you all, who will still never assess the value of your heart and the value of your life. All I can say is, let's go back to the playground. Let's just go back to the playground where we understood what it meant to be nice and play fair. You all are saying that we don't have to agree, but be kind. Just be kind. Because I still believe, this is just me, sometimes I grab the side of this chair. That's right. You all saying, if you don't have anything, yes, you all know some of our parents and grandparents and moms would say, keep your mouth closed. We would say in the South, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. And it is true. This whole notion of the same way you go up the ladder, you gonna meet people come. I'm telling you all, it's true, you all, because and you all are saying that I still believe in a day of reckoning. That's just Cutler. I still believe in a day of reckoning. That's why I treat people kind. I believe in a day of retribution. That's why I try to play fair. I believe in a day of recompense. That's why I try to be nice. I do believe in the possibility that on your way down, you might have to kiss the same feet that you stepped on your way up. I believe in that. I believe in the possibility. I believe in the possibility, you all, that one day you might have to eat your lying words, your gossiping words, your backbiting words, your manipulative words, and your condemning words. So I tried to say this as nicely as I could. Quote says, I'd rather eat my cooking than my own words. I want to say thank you all for spending this time with me, these 1,800 seconds. It really does my heart good. And I really, really, really hope that you all get something from this because I'm encouraged as I read the chats. I'm thankful that there is something that I've said that may you take a nugget and you say, I can show up better tomorrow than I did today. Guess what, y'all? Because today was not a wash. It was not all lost. It wasn't all bad. We may not have dotted every I, crossed every T, but today was not a loss. But what today tells me is that there's a possibility that I can still show up a little bit better tomorrow than I did today. That's why I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday, y'all. I believe in the possibility of better. With all my heart, I believe it. I believe in the possibility that what I didn't get right today, if God be gracious, I have the opportunity to get it right tomorrow. I believe in the plateau and the plane. And I believe in this whole notion of counting my days. Not in fear, not in shame, not in all of that. No, but to count my days and to apply wisdom to all of them. You all do me a favor. I know it's almost time to go, but do me a favor and say hi to Alanika Yorick. Thank you, Alanika, for joining us. I believe in the possibility of better, you all. That's why I wrote this book. That's why. If I didn't believe it, I wouldn't be sitting here every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 o'clock. But I believe in it. Not only do I believe in the possibility, but I believe in the responsibility of helping my brother and my sister. I believe in the responsibility of creating this whole this convoy on the highway where we jumping in this vehicle, gathering passengers to become better. You all, I want to do something. I think I want to conclude this evening by reading. There's this poem that I wrote, and I have to be honest, I was looking, and I've written several books, and I just could not remember which book it's in. So yes, here it is. I want to end by reading this book. That is the poem that's in this book. Of course, our conversations are taking place from Billboards to Better, but I want to read a poem from this book. We don't always get it right the first time. And then that's how I want us to go out. All right. But do me one more favor. Listen, let me say this. You all are overwhelming me. You really are. You're overwhelming me in such a good way this evening. Say hi, please, to Penerdia Barlow. Please say hi to Penerdia Barlow, who's joined us. And then I may have mispronounced it, so please forgive me for joining us in the chat. All right. I want to end by reading this poem. It says, An Undiscovered Me. My hand was desperate to hold you. My lips were desperate to greet you. My heart to meet you. My soul to warm you. You were the reflection of a fulfilled me, the expectation of an immature me, the hope of an incomplete me, the joy of a me without peace, promise, or pride. You laughed at me and scoffed at me, shunned me and resisted me. You refused to love me, want me, or be me. You said no to me. I said yes to myself. I took myself by my hand, started my journey with me to find me, the original me, the perfect me, the self-actualized me. The journey to me led me to a sea called me, where the waves washed me to a mountain called me, where the clouds rested on the peak of me and guided me to a chasm with an undiscovered me, an unsophisticated me, an unlearned me. I ventured to find me, but I encountered you. You and me, an oxymoron. You and me, an irony. You and me, an impossibility. You and me, a paradox. You and me, a melody that caused me to grow weary. I sang to find me, resolved to find me, drew closer to finding me, and the creator of me snatched me further from me, snatched the breath from my will, and exhaustion gave way to desperation. Desperation gave way to exasperation, and I collapsed. I collided with the calamities of what had promised to complete me and that which threatened to consume me. Downward I fell, pulled into an episodic vertigo state by a gravitational hold that wrestled with me, and there was no daybreak, no morning light, no joy that came afterward. And guess what? I longed to die, no live. Just one more time. Live just one more time and live the life that I loved to live. And I love to love. To love again was what led me to my hand that was desperate to hold you. And do you really think I was talking about you? No, I meant me. I want to thank you all for sharing this space, these 1,800 seconds with me. Please join me here every Tuesday, every Thursday, as we try to become primed so we can show up better the next day. Until Thursday, you all, please, let's continue to build community. Let's maintain connectivity. Whatever you do, keep your heads up, but more importantly, keep your hope up. We're still in a pandemic. You all stay safe and stay sane. And there will always be, from my heart to yours, much love. Good night, all.